social worker or a doctor or psychologist. And that is the terminology they use. But something is popping at the moment. And what we claim, or EU claim, is that urban green spaces can be a really big health resource for urban health, and especially for urban populations that are disconnected from nature. There is a new term that we use every day, that's it, disconnection from nature. Do you talk about that here as well? Yeah? Yeah, it's really, really on the agenda right now. And of course, this paper has played an enormous role by Hunter et al. When they did this massive review and could draw the conclusions that, I'm sorry, but just laying out more parks or nature trails is often not enough. You need something more that promotes engagement in order to get a health outcome. Or there is a very big risk that there will be no or just indifferent health impact. That is occupying us a lot at the moment. And some people are more disconnected than others to nature. I guess everybody in this room, we are probably not disconnected. But in different cultures, in different societies, different people are disconnected from nature. And looking at nature-based interventions and green spaces is really on the agenda in the EU. And in 2022, the EU came up with a very big call for a Horizon Europe call. You know about Horizon Europe, it is a really prestigious grant you can get if you apply, and it's highly international. And they wanted, they wanted the applicants to look into all of those points very thoroughly. And one of them is stronger evidence-based for the causal relationship between nature and health and well-being for more effective nature therapy prescriptions. This is actually the look about everything when it comes to urban green spaces and urban health in this project. I was invited to one of the consortium that sent in an application, and I just want to say that the guy who is the coordinator is Professor Matthew White from Vienna University. He's a very ambitious guy, and he's not just lead of writing this application. In parallel, he invited us to write a theoretical framework or a theory paper describing our application from a theoretical perspective. So if you're interested in nature-based biopsychosocial resilience, this is a paper you can find on my research profile. And here again we have this problem that the EU calls this nature-based therapy, but they actually mean much more. So in this Resonate project, we have built a whole project connected to a model that is often used in public health. It's called the Health Promotion Disease Prevention Pyramid. Probably heard of it. And what we have done is now we have linked that to different types of nature-based solutions. So in this project we address level 1, that we look at health promotion and whole populations. That could be, for example, we look for a very long time at people living in a certain city, know what types of green spaces they have easily accessible. Longitudinal studies, big databases. On the next level, we look at people who are at risk of becoming ill. Metabolic diseases, obesity, those kind of illnesses. And then we look at interventions. I wouldn't call it therapy, I would call it interventions like forest bathing or nature walking groups. And then we have the third level, and that is people with existing conditions. And that, to me, is treatment. And that could be called green prescriptions or nature-based mindfulness. And this is a graphic presentation of our Resonate project, consisting of several work packages. And I must say that Matthew White is an artist. This is so beautiful when you get to work with it. But today I just want you to pay attention to this work package 3. Because what we are doing in this Resonate project is that we are addressing each and one of those 3 levels with 3 different case studies. So we have 2 case studies in the UK and 1 in Bulgaria addressing this longitudinal exposure. And we have on level 2, we have interventions in Italy, Austria, and Spain. And then on the top level 3, we have case studies in Sweden, Denmark, and the Netherlands. So I'm PI for one of those case studies. And in this case study, I decided to focus on people with mobility disabilities. Because the whole narrative about disconnection was really important for me. And I knew from a previous project that people with physical disabilities, they are more disconnected from nature. Of course, nature is often very inaccessible. But also that we have found in the literature there are intrapersonal barriers, meaning if you have a mobility disabilities, your family or your carer may hinder you to visit nature because it's dangerous or not comfortable for you. And also you can have the within yourself barriers. You don't feel safe, you don't dare to visit nature. And to be honest, we also know that when we talk about health initiatives in general, people with mobilities are often not included. So I believe they could be disconnected from nature and they would probably need nature the most. And this is also an argument for looking into this group. This was a study I did with the National Institute of Public Health. It's a natural representative survey, and I think it was 11,000 people who have responded. And they answered a questionnaire called e.saif 36, where you look into 8 different health subscales, ranging from physical functioning to general health, vitality, mental health, and so on. Quite a comprehensive picture of your health status. And what we could see in that project is, if we look at the top 3 lines, the blue line here, those are people without mobility disabilities. And the blue line are those people who visit green spaces several times a week or daily. And no matter how we measure health, their scores indicate better health than those who visit green spaces or central. I was able to identify people with mobility disabilities in this database. And what is really important and interesting is we can see more or less the same pattern. The purple lines are people with that visit nature several times a week or daily, and their scores are better than those who visit it more seldom. But everybody with the mobility disabilities, their health scores were lower than the able-bodied population. But we know that they would probably react in the same positive way to nature if they just had a disability. So that's why I started to look into that. I also knew from a study I did, a qualitative study, where we interviewed people with mobility disabilities. And amongst them we interviewed teenage groups. And this is one example of how to make a beach accessible in Copenhagen. You have this, it says handicap trail. And with the handicapped, you're not allowed to say that. And this is for those who are not handicapped. And in the interviews, we had a teenage boy, and he told us about the day when he was going to this beach with his friends. They jumped into the car, they parked the car, his friends ran down here and into the lake. When he was exposed to the handicap train. That's for you, not for them. And he told us in the interview that when he was on this train, he felt so exposed. So he said, it is the way people look at you on the handicap trains. It really annoys me. I cannot stand being stared at. I don't feel like being confronted with this. So I just stay at home. Then I do not have to put up with it. Staying home, not going out in nature, not good for your health. we can do much better than that. And that is what we are doing in this study. What we are trying to do is to improve connection to nature by closer engagement. Because they are focusing on getting around, they focus on the balance if they are walking with stakes, or they don't notice what's around them. So what we have done is that we have developed an app with sound files that will help you, that are directly linked to the environment and try to make you connected, related to the natural, to the environment. And it's a very simple setup. They do a lot of questionnaires, they do a walk, and then they do a lot of questionnaires again. And we follow them for 4 weeks. We also do biometric data. I've been talking a little bit of data collection, and if anyone is interested, we have some experience now with biometric data, and what is really occupying me now is eye tracking videos in order to understand if the environment attracts you and engages you, so there could be some type of health benefits. And this is one of our participants in this project, an elderly, beautiful lady. She's listening to the audio files and viewing this landscape. And this is really my second last slide. And I just want to say that it's really a pledge for me to you guys that some groups are really underrepresented in nature, health, and landscape architecture projects. And they are often the people that need it the most. And I could see, I think Jasper, it was your first slide, you mentioned some of the SDGs. And SDGs, everybody has to try to achieve them. And of course, 11.7 is directly linked to this. But across all of the SDGs is also a pledge of reaching those most left behind first, and not leave no one behind pledge. I don't know if you were visiting Copenhagen in 2023 at the World Congress for Architects. Yeah? You were? Yeah? Okay. It ended up with 10 lessons learned. And the first lesson says, dignity and agency for all people is fundamental in architecture. There is no beauty in exclusion. So please try to incorporate that if you can. And that is also something that there is a new initiatives going on. I'm just showing this to say there is something very interesting happening in Korea. And they are looking at nature and the health nexus from cradle to grave. And it started with a conference, but has now become an organization. And I'm part of this board, so if anyone is interested in this world form of forest therapy, we can talk about that as a later point. Summing up, we must be realistic about what we expect nature to do for our health. Sometimes we claim it should do too much. Yes. We should try to avoid failing the users and the client by working evidence-based. We have a gap that just keeps remaining between practice and research. I think it's so unnecessary. We need to collaborate more. And also, valuable knowledge generated by practitioners don't really reach other ones. And finally, where are all the landscape architects in research? We lack you guys, and we need you, and it's so crucial that we are visible and we work together and collaborate as much as we can. And by that I say thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Professor, for that insightful and thought-provoking presentation. I wish I can fly there to experience that therapy in forests. I love walking into forests. Somehow it has a very deep connection with me because it's related to what my father used to love to do. Go hiking inside forests. Whenever he feels stressful, he will just disappear from our house for a few days, going camping, hiking and all this stuff. So that is a lot of potential when you expose yourself to nature. Or maybe we can go to Korea, since there's new opportunities there as well. So 2 places that I want to go, my department, the work. So now we move to from the evidence-based health design to a broader integrative design perspective that connects people, place, and also nature. So our second speaker is landscape architect Phua, founder and director of Main Art Designs in Berhad, a highly respected landscape architect known for his extensive professional experience and commitment to holistic and people-centric landscape design. Mr. Phua is also our adjunct professor here in his faculty, and his presentation is entitled Holistic Landscape Design, Connecting Nature, People and Well-being. So please give a warm welcome to landscape architect Phua.
Good morning, everyone. Paul, thanks Dr. Shireen and Dr. Maulan and invited me to. Dr. Invited me for on behalf of UPM, invited me as a speaker for international colloquium today. I'm going to share today's presentation together with my business partner Peter Phua. He's my director in KL office. Today's topic is holistic landscape design, connecting nature, people, and well-being. Before I start the presentation, let me introduce myself a little bit. It'll take about 5 minutes, because I believe most of it are students, but today's student a little bit more mature compared to the normal one that I see. Where is it? Okay. This is my profile photo for my company. I'm the adjunct professor and also the founder of this Phua company currently. A dream born early when I was 18 years old. I dreamed to be an architect. Yeah? I dreamed to be an architect because I'm not from the science stream. This is my 18 years of photo. Okay. Then after that, I entered to UPM to complete my diploma in urban and regional planning in 1992. Yeah. Then after that, I complete my degree in 1995. You can see Dr. Shireen and Dr. Adya. Yeah, right? Yeah. Is Sabarudin, is that the back? Yes. Also my classmate. We graduated at the same time. And during the periods, I also won what I call the best designer for my non-design background students for 3 continuous years, and also the first prize in 1995, taking what we call the ecotourism project in the Christchurch, New Zealand. Okay, and then in 1995, I also won the Citation Award under e.saif student competition in Bangkok. And during that year as well, I won the grand prize for Elam competition. I just want to show this to inspire some of the students. Then after I complete my degree in landscape architecture, I continue my work in Singapore for 2 years, attached to EcoPlan. That's my first job. After that, I came back to Penang in 1988. In 1988, that's right. 1998. Sorry, 98, not 88, sorry. I worked with my boss, but at that time the company was bought by a developer. So only left one table, one chair, one drawing board, one computer, and my brain. And then after I served him for 6 months, he just asked me to take over the company. Yeah. So it's been blessed until today. So after that, 1999, I moved to this office. And that is my first few years, and then for the first 5 years, this is my first group of team members working together in Chotai Road, one of the heritage building in Penang. Then after that, last 2 years, we moved to a new office at the Maulan. And these are my team members in Penang currently. And these are all the projects we completed between 27 years in Penang. And then we started in KL office in 2010. At that time, we only owned about 700 square feet office in public car, and then after 2018 we moved to about 2,000 square feet areas. So this is my current team's office environments. Peter is the one who leads the KL team. So these are all the projects in KL we're doing. But today we're going to share with you some of the projects. So we have 62 people currently at 4 locations. We have a business partner in Ho Chi Minh and also in Singapore. Besides landscape architecture, we do master planning and also interior design work. Because we see interior design and landscape architecture, there is a seamless continuation in the space itself. Because landscape probably a bit lower fees, so I need some extra income to sustain the company. Our vision is to nurture the future through space, people, and nature. We combine these three, we're able to create a better for tomorrow. So today's topic is holistic landscape design, connecting nature, people, and well-being. Why holistic landscape design matter today? Why? Yeah, because due to the rapid developments in urban areas, that is most of the green spaces have been taken out. You can see the KL have been reduced tremendously, about 40% in green spaces from the year that we independence. And beside that, we have the climate change and also environmental stress because due to the illegal logging and also some flooding issue make our biodiversity imbalance. And all this is create metaphysical challenges for ourselves. Yeah? And then what we also lost the connection with nature, like what Professor Ulrika had mentioned that just now. He said that human connection to nature had declined. If you look back, my data are a bit old, 60%, okay, in 200 years since in 1,800 years ago. You can see that how much percent have reduced. Yeah. Why that's indirectly all this because our people getting more sick, right? Based on that type of stuff. What is a holistic landscape design? First is the nature as infrastructures. Take example for mangrove protect the community but remain invisible in economic balance shift. Okay? And people at the center. And why people is important when we design space for the public to use, because we need to respect to local culture, climate, communities, value, and creating landscape that feel authentic and meaningful. Third will be long-term well-being and active, because sustainable design and resilient designs are more important. Because holistic landscape design consider how a place grows, ages, and changes over time, ensuring resilient and lasting value, and require lower maintenance. That's the most important. And creating nature, if you understand that the connecting nature is more the ecology restorations, biodiversity, and native plants. By we introduce native plants into the site, I think maintenance automatically reduce it because they are already adapt to the site. And water sensitive design and climate responsive landscape. The other one, connecting people. Connecting people because as a landscape architect, normally we design our space called the third place. And third place that we would like to make is part of the inclusive public spaces and also make the social interactions. And need to provide safety and comfort and dignity that in line with the universal accessibility guidelines. And connecting well-being is one. Well-being is designed, not added later. And why we say so? Because these are all intangible things, like physical health, mental health, and emotional health. Yeah, about the space itself and emotion health connection with the nature, with the people. That is also very important. So we have a few projects I'd like to share with you. One is the Tun Rasa Exchange. Second one is okay, we'll get my partners to start with it first. Peter Chua, come. Okay, welcome in first.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Mr. Prof, for inviting me to share my thoughts on my experience of this project. It's a very good morning to all the students, professors. It's my first time actually sharing to the students in the kuliah. Probably I'm doing outside as student outside. Okay. So yeah, today's topic is actually talking more about the health perspective. You know, like how we connect people, connect nature, and connect the well-being. It's also in line with like our company headline actually vision is nurture the future, through people, space, and nature. So people actually nowadays all of us talking about the well-being of ourselves and how we actually as architect doing our job and our role to actually to shape the futures of this. So today I would like to share project on TRX. Okay. So this is a KL skyline. Okay, it's a house to actually 2 million of us populations, and we talk about a greater KL. Actually, is house of 9 million populations. So we actually more and more urbanized in Malaysia. So a lot of populations that actually like dwelling in the urban setting rather than in the kampung setting. So it's more crucial for us as a landscape architect to actually seize every opportunity that we have to make use of every space that we could to actually to connect people, nature and space. What if I help you? So this is a skyline KL. So the first part that we show here is TRS Tower. This is Exchange 106 Tower. Okay, TRS itself is actually a 70 acres of land development on the East MT, and this was previously before the TRX established. So it's actually misuse of the abandoned space on land used for the car parks, like some open space. So after the developments that been confirmed, so we actually developed these 70 acres of land. We actually were very high. This percentage of green areas is actually consists of 23%. The requirement for DPL is only 10%, so actually we surpass these requirements a lot. We actually use up 23% of the site itself for the green areas. So before we actually started the design, we actually engaged these public engagements. So we actually talked to people around, like these shop blocks areas surrounding by this site, and we actually go to do some survey. So it's talking about the human centric. What we're going to do is actually for the benefit of the human, for the people, not only for the one that actually going to delve inside the site, but how this development actually affect the neighboring or adjacent site or the business or the people around it. Okay, so this is the entire site of DRX. So we actually have these areas of the shape of these areas. So actually today I'm going to share the 4 key areas of these projects. First, I will start with this Rain Tree Plaza, and then I will go to this area. Is Santa Plaza area. It's a small area we now call it Singgasana. And I will jump to this area. This is the connection from Jalan Barat towards the mall itself. And lastly, I will go to the MRT station. It's a space in between this MRT station and the mall itself. So these 4 key areas is actually we created this plaza area to create the connection with the humans and the space that we use. Okay, we'll start with the Rain Tree Plaza. So this is a space that actually, if you're going to the TRX mall, you actually will notice that this is a big, huge open space. It's around 2.8 acres. It purposely opened out for the use of the activities and the event space. So you can see that this area is actually we use the granite material to create the open space, while we actually have surrounded by the green plantings. Okay, so these are the activities that we can create using this purposely laid out open space to create some cultural exchange. You know, some festive season we actually can do do some activities, and also for the well-being, we actually using this for the, because there's a staircase here, we actually can use this for the activities like exercise and things like that. And more like event space planning to hold some international events. And when we talk about area like this, of course, we talk about we are in the tropical country, so the heat or the thermal comfort is something that we need to address. So these are the areas that we actually doing the solar isolation study for the site itself. So with the proper selection of the tree or the street state, the shade of the trees, we actually can reduce the temperature so that when people walk around, we actually create this thermal comfort. Now you can see that with the helps of these shades, people can walk more comfortably. So a big history back to the areas of this Rain Tree Bazaar. It was previously sales gallery for the TRX. So actually, it was then demolished, and the brief to us is what we could do after we demolish this sales gallery. So we actually tell the clients, we have to salvage the tree. It's this picture tree. It was planted by Tunku Abdurrahman, our father of the national. So after we tear out this this sales gallery, what we need to do is to actually protect the rain tree. So these are the things that we do with this tree protected zone. So what we actually doing is we create a water feature, surround and embrace the tree itself. So we actually created something like a soothing third place, or this environment friendly space for the people to rest while actually keep the tree still surviving. Okay, these are some of the site progress. Okay, we put some mulching to protect the tree itself. And this is the end product that we actually, so just now you see the sales building was demolished and actually replaced with the water features. So this is very nice thoroughfare that work towards the TRX mall. So with this water feature also we creating this very soothing kind of focus point for people to walk more comfortably. Okay. So we show this video clips. We actually have a quote by this the Razak on the water feature itself, and you can actually just you can only read that towards the reflections on the water. Okay, so this is the quote that we actually created on the water feature, and we actually overlooking to the TRX mall. Okay, and then tucked in the one corner of this Rain Tree Bazaar, we also have this kiosk. Is for commercial. Originally, the architect actually asked us to remove all the trees, so we actually object to that. So we actually managed to salvage all 9 numbers of existing trees. So how we do that is by the selection of the materials. So you notice that at the right-hand side here, we actually use the granite, and the level is higher. Whereas for this area, because of the existing level of the tree is lower, so we actually tell the architect that why not we actually create an elevated deck to actually salvage the tree so that the tree still can survive, but they also can achieve this kiosk to be erected on the site. So we'll share this. It's a difficult process that we work with the engineer and the architect to avoid all the tree roots, so that the tree can still survive, and we actually elevated out the structure. So the tree will actually stay at the lower existing level, while the structure itself of the kiosk is on a higher level. So you can see the end result is actually very nice, that we actually salvage the trees, and the tree actually passed through the building. Yeah, so this is something that we work with between the consultants to actually achieve it's a more balanced kind of the nature activity. Okay, so this is the feelings that actually you overlooking to the kiosk itself. So you can see that with a lot of these plants and the trees that we actually created, it actually give a lot of the thermal comfort for people to walk more comfortably. Okay, the other area I would like to share is the Santan Plaza, or we call it Stigdotter. It's an urban area of small, like swimming pool size. It's tucked between TRX Tower, SSBC, and Country Bank. So this is more like a commercial areas for people to connect and to it's a transition areas. So what we do is actually trying to create some interesting space for people to use, rather than just as a connecting area, but also to create some event and like space generating like placemaking. So this is the aerial view from the side. So you can see this, we actually create a pattern of the granite of the flooring areas to connect all these three mega towers together. One is the TRX building, SAPC, and the architect. So with this motif, actually we can create some of the visual, more soothing kind of design on the floor. And actually using these kind of the lightweight structures to create the staircase. And I think UPM have made this visit to the site before. And just like I mentioned that top of this area is a transition area between the traffic. We also have injecting some activities or some festive season that people can do some performance at these areas. So actually, like we need to activate the areas or the space that we create. And, okay, you can see like you can some, like small kiosks and some performance at the side. And it's actually a very nice place for me to actually wrap it up to see the tower itself. And we actually place some sitting as a sculpture as well. So at night we actually lit up the areas. So we actually show you one video that actually is a very nice kind of soothing and very nice kind of light things. Okay, the third place I would like to share is on the Jalan Barat link to the TRX mall itself. So it is actually from the bottom level straight away up to the third level of the TRX mall. So this is also another transition area for pedestrian, but it's not for the vehicle. It's only for the pedestrian from the level 0 up to level 3. Though the height spanning is about 12 meter height. Okay, so the area is called Barat Walk. So similarly, we actually created a lot of the space for people to linger around, rather than just a transition place for people to walk. Of course, we actually created an expressway. So you can see that on the right hand side here is an expressway for people to walk straight to the mall. But it's more important to let people to slow down the pace. We actually created a lot of these sitting areas and the funding areas at this left hand side. So actually people can slow down the pace and enjoy the space. Okay, so another view at night. So you can see that people actually can spend some time there rather than rushing to the mall or to the other side. And the last place I would like to share is MRT Plaza. So this is a space that connects the mall to the MRT Plaza. So for this space also, it's actually quite challenging for us because underneath is a lot of these infrared. So you can see the plan that we're actually working on. There's a lot of these utilities, M&E things. So how we actually tackle with this issue is we have to raise everything on top. There's nothing for us we can sunken towards the soil or to the ground areas. So what we actually try to create after the brainstorming is to create a lot of these planter boards, but they are actually clustered together, so that we have a free hand to, like to puzzle it and to reshuffle it to make a lot of the possibilities. And in the event that we have some event or activities, these planters actually can move away to decrease the event. Okay, so these are some of the design and place that we actually created for the planters. So also we tuck in some of the seating for people to sit around underneath the tree shades. So you can see that it creates some areas for people to like waiting for friends or gathering space for these areas. Okay. And yeah, this I meant just now that let's say there's some event, they actually can move away some of the planters to have their activities there. So all in all, to conclude, what we actually done from here is that our vision is to actually create a city arboretum for KL. Okay, not only talking about TRX itself, but in the bigger pictures. Okay, if we look at the TRX development itself, actually it can't help much, but we need to link to the other areas. Okay, to help the KL. So just now, like Mr. Phua was mentioning, we actually start from 1988 to recently we actually lost 45% of our green area in KL due to the developments. So it's a very rapid urbanization for KL itself. So we can't turn back to what we had previously, but what we need to do is, very importantly, is to link up all the segmented green areas so that we actually create a green belt or a green corridor for the flora and fauna to actually connect them. So that's our ambition. I mentioned that we only not to connect the human but to connect the nature. So we hope that with these activities or this effort, we will actually able to to connect back all the natures other than the humans in our country. So as what we have done all these things is like during the constructions. So now we are actually coming to the second phase of the TRX is that we need to assess what has been done, is it working or not. Like just now, Dr. Ulrika was saying that any proof that it works or not. And we understand that for this TRX project is very challenging because it's an urban setting. Actually, there's comparatively the green area is very precious in this urban setting. So all in all, we actually have only around 1,002 numbers of trees in these 70 acres of developments. To me, it's considered not so many trees in the areas. So moving forward, that actually we also collaborate with UPM to actually assess the carbon sequestration and the ecology assessment to see whether this development is truly sustainable or actually it helps in terms of the nature or not. So we will see in 2-3 years time in the data collection how this actually proves the assessments. So we hope that it will become a project for us to actually start something in the database, more evidence-based projects. All right, thank you very much. So I pass that to
only left 15 minutes, right? For me, it's only 10 minutes. Okay, I share something a bit more obscure. This Geo Garden at Harvard Shopping Center is not in a bigger context, but I just want to share with you, this is very interesting. Although very small garden exhibition that we did in Bukit Bintang, we never attract bees and butterflies. Although these are all real plants, yeah. But the interesting part, when we take about 1 week to do it, experiment, and we video recording and send to the Paris, and let the designers see either the concept is that workable or not. Right? We need to do a maintenance guide to wear a proper aprons, with the Geo logo, during office hour. After 10 o'clock, then the foreigner can come in. I just want to share with you, it's very interesting. It's all, have you been there? Anyone has visited this? Okay, I believe Shuri will take the photo already. So what we attract is all celebrities and YouTubers. We never attract bee and butterflies. This is a very interesting project that we have experienced. Okay, another one is Summit Park at Southwest City. This project actually located near around Bangi, about 30 minutes from Kuala Lumpur. Today I'm going to share with you this summit part based on the urban forest concept. But before that, let me bring you to see the entire master plan context first. Total land area is about 428 acres of land, and green spaces about 11%. They're all green spaces you can see along the riverfront park and also the hill park areas and summit park and also a linear park. All these park spaces is connected with the jogging path and cycling tracks. And we also consider about walking distance, 5 to 8 minutes from the doorstep. And when we complete this is the year one, when we complete the roadside planting